You're finally there. The relationship is secure. The project is succeeding. The peace you wanted is real. And then you find yourself picking a fight, or stopping your own progress, or feeling a strange, heavy emptiness where you expected joy. It's a quiet, bewildering rebellion against your own happiness. And the question that haunts you in that moment is the one we'll explore. Why would you ever turn against something good? You notice it in the specific quiet after a win. A promotion comes through, and instead of celebrating, you fixate on the one critical comment in a sea of praise. You meet someone truly kind, and your mind begins compiling a list of their tiny, inconsequential flaws. Or you achieve a goal, and in the following days, a profound lethargy sets in, a creative paralysis. You might call it self-sabotage, and you'd be right. But it doesn't feel like a conscious choice. It feels more like an immune response, as if your own psyche is rejecting the transplant of something healthy. It affects everything. Your identity. Because if you're not the person who struggles, who are you? Your decisions. Because you start making choices that reintroduce friction. Your relationships. Because you test people, pushing to see if they'll leave, proving an old story right. Your self-talk in these moments is the cruelest. It whispers, "See, I knew you didn't really deserve this. I knew it wouldn't last." This isn't a flaw in your character. It's a misfire in your psychological immune system. So let's be clear, you are not broken for this. You are not ungrateful or destined for misery or incapable of happiness. What you are is adapted. This pattern wasn't installed to ruin your life. It was installed at some point to protect it. Think of it as an old sophisticated alarm system wired into the foundation of your mind. Its one job was to keep you safe from threat, and it learned through experience what threat looked like. Perhaps threat was instability or disappointment or the vulnerability of hoping for something and having it taken away. So the system made a brutal logical calculation. The safest state is the state you already know how to survive, even if that state is struggle, even if it's pain. Because to this old system, familiar pain is safer than unfamiliar peace. Your sabotage isn't malice. It's a misplaced loyalty to an old protector. To understand this, we need to look at two key systems in the brain. The first is your baseline calibration, often called your set point. Through a process called hedonic adaptation, your brain normalizes your current circumstances. It's why a raise brings joy for a few months, then feels normal. But for some, the baseline isn't calibrated to neutral. It's calibrated to a state of mild threat or challenge. Your nervous system, your stress responses, your vigilance, they found a stable operating rhythm in a certain level of chaos. When that chaos disappears, the system doesn't register safety. It registers a prediction error. The world is not matching its internal model, and to the brain, a prediction error is a threat signal. This is where the second system kicks in, your behavioral immune system. Just as your physical body launches an immune response to a foreign substance, your psychology launches behavioral responses to a foreign state. Peace, sustained success, unconditional love. These can be the foreign substances because they are unfamiliar, untested, and so the system does what it's designed to do. It rejects the transplant. It creates symptoms, anxiety, picking fights, procrastination to return you to the familiar, safe baseline. The mental model here is the comfort zone of chaos. It's not a zone of comfort in the relaxing sense. It's a zone where the patterns are comfortable because they are known. A known battlefield can feel safer than an unknown garden. You cannot reason with an old immune system. You have to gently, patiently retrain it. Here is how. Step 1. Rename the sensation. What to do when you feel that urge to sabotage, that anxiety in the good moment, that need to create a problem. Don't call it self-sabotage. Name it out loud as the old alarm. Why it works? This simple cognitive act of relabeling engages the prefrontal cortex, the brain's reasoning center. It creates a critical sliver of space between the impulse and you. It changes the experience from "I am ruining things" to "a protective part of me is misfiring." Real life example, you're having a perfect, quiet Sunday with your partner. Out of nowhere, you feel a rise of irritability, looking for something to critique. You pause and say inwardly, "Ah, the old alarm is ringing." It doesn't recognize this piece. That pause alone changes everything. Step 2. Introduce microdoses of the new baseline. What to do? Don't try to leap into sustained, overwhelming peace. Your system will reject it. Instead, deliberately allow yourself small-timed moments of uncontested good, 5 minutes of sitting with a success without undercutting it, 30 seconds of accepting a compliment without deflecting. Why it works. This is exposure therapy, a principle from behavioral psychology. You are exposing your nervous system to the foreign substance in small, manageable doses, allowing it to build tolerance without triggering a full rejection response. Real-life example. You finished a big project. The urge is to immediately point out its flaws. Instead, set a timer for 2 minutes. For just 2 minutes, look at the finished work and only allow thoughts that acknowledge its completion. When the timer goes off, you can return to critique if you must. Often, you won't need to. Step 3. Give the protector a new job. What to do? This old part of you is vigilant and powerful. Thank it. Literally. Then, ask it to shift its focus. Instead of scanning for threats to your peace, can it scan for moments to anchor into that peace? Why it works? This is based on internal family systems IFS theory, which sees the mind as made of parts. A protector part won't disband just because you tell it to. It needs to feel valued and given a new meaningful role that serves the present, not the past. Real-life example. When you feel that familiar protective anxiety in a good relationship, inwardly say, "Thank you for trying to keep me safe from hurt. Your vigilance is appreciated. Now, can you help me notice one solid good thing about this moment instead?" You're redirecting the same energy. Step 4. Rewire the prediction. What to do? Consciously practice telling yourself a new story before the good thing happens. Stability can be safe. Good things can last. I can learn the rhythms of peace. Why it works. This targets the prediction error at its source. You are giving your brain's predictive model new data. You are not using positive affirmations. You are using cognitive rehearsal to build new neural pathways so that good starts to become a predictable and thus safer category. Real-life example. Before a weekend with no drama planned, tell yourself, "This quiet time is part of my life now. My system is allowed to relax into it." You are pre-calibrating your baseline. So, here is the simple model to remember. You have an old alarm calibrated for a comfort zone of chaos that sees unfamiliar good as a prediction error and activates a behavioral immune response. The work is not to fight the alarm. It is to stand with it in the new garden and prove to it, slowly and with evidence, that the bird song is not a warning siren, that the quiet is not the calm before a storm, but simply the calm. This is slow work. It is the work of showing a scared part of you over and over that the world has changed, that you have changed. It happens in those small, almost invisible moments between the impulse and the action. In the breath you take before sending the text that would start a fight, in the sentence you don't say to undermine your own achievement. That is where the retraining happens. Not in a grand declaration, but in a quiet choice. To let the good thing be good. To let the peaceful moment simply be. To stand on solid ground and whisper to the part of you still waiting for the earthquake, "It's okay, we're not there anymore." This is what safe feels like now.